Hello there, YouTube. This is Shivam with a mixed tier match, but nothing over OU. But apparently he uses OU in this weird superior contrary thing, which I don't know if it's illegal or not, but I just let it pass by. And here we go. Sorry about the shadows, by the way. We're kind of ghetto, so excuse our ghetto-ness. And so he leads off with his elf, which is a basic lead as elf, but I mean, of course I should have figured this out if he led as it, but I didn't really figure that out until he used that taunt. I was like, okay, yeah, it's got to be a lead as elf. And so now basically since he taunt me I can't do anything, and I knew he was going to set up rocks right after I switch out, so I send in my spinner, Hitmontop, to spin him away, but you know, I go for that fake out first, you know, gotta get that flinch and that damage going, and so he switches out. I don't know really why he could have psychic me, but I would have taken it, so I go for the rapid spin knowing I could get at least a rapid spin off, and this is a weird matchup, so I thought that maybe he might go for the Leaf Storm, so I go into my Deoxys because I know I'll take that really well. But he sets up his screen, so I was like, okay, this is a screener. So he sets up both of his screens, and even with Light Clay, I'm going to be able to stall this thing out until both screens are gone and until this thing is dead. So he does a bad play here, and he just keeps this guy in for like forever. And so I'm basically Cosmic Powering up, you know, just getting my walls up, because since he's toxic, he can't really do much to me. And so now he goes for a Leaf Storm, and this is where I figure out he's contrary, and I'm just like, I thought those were illegal yet, but I'm not sure. I guess I just let it slide. And so he just keeps going for that, and I get my leftovers. I'm just toxic, stalling him out to death. Keeps going for a Leaf Storm, getting +4, but still it's not going to be doing that much to me. And so basically this is just getting kind of stally. I'm recovering, you know, knockoff, toxic, damage, basically going back and forth. Then he starts deciding to do Giga Drain because he knows that Leaf Storm's not going to do much, and he wants his health back. This is where I go for the knockoff to get rid of his Light Clay. And I thought, okay, that's fine. I thought he might switch out at this point, but he still stays in, and now he's going to go for the Giga Drain, and it's going to be the last turn that he actually gets to use this guy. So I just recover back all my damage, and he's basically dead. And so now, here I should have went for the knockoff, but he goes into R2P2, which is OU, and I was like, you told me not to use OU, so I don't know. I let this one slide too. And so I go for the Toxic instead. I should have went for knockoff, because then his Eviolite would have made him useless, but you'll see later on in this match that I actually do get the knockoff, which is awesome, but we'll get to that later. And so now, although Light Screens and Reflector are gone, so the Porygon 2 is just going to be sitting there, and since I got this thing Toxic, I don't know why he went for Recover. He probably thought that I was going to attack, but I mean, from the stall war that just happened, he knows that my Deoxys doesn't have any attack moves. If I was him, I would have switched into Zelf and probably taunted. But anyway, enough of that. I just go into my Registeel, and then get the Stealth Rocks going up, and he gets his Nasty Plot, and I'm just like, oh shit, this is not going to be fun. He's going to Focus Blast me, and I don't know if I'll survive. So I go for the T-Wave, go for the Iron Head, because right now I don't really want to explode, and I already got my rocks up. So I was thinking that hopefully that I'll survive a Focus Blast, and luckily I do with 22. And I'm just like, bitchin', that's great for me. And so now since I'm faster, I can explode, and I got an Iron Head damage, and plus he's paralyzed, I can kill him. And so that explosion is going to take him out in one hit, and that's just yippee for me. And so now he goes into Tauros, and I go into my Thor. I don't know if he knew that I had Aura Sphere on it, but he stays in, and I just go for the Aura Sphere just to be safe, because I knew nothing on his team would really counter it except R2, well no, not R2P2, but something else. Oh, Zapdos probably would have been a better counter to switch into. And so I knew that I wouldn't be able to take this thing out enough, so I switched into my Deoxys because I thought maybe a T-Wave was coming or a Toxic, and he does go for the T-Wave or Toxic, and so that's a good play on my part. And since I saw Toxic on, or not Toxic, T-Wave, I thought maybe he was a sweeper, but he actually does go for the Roost, and so I was like, okay, maybe he's more defensive set, and so I was thinking maybe Thunderbolt, Roost, I guess it's a T-Wave instead of Toxic. And so since I knew this thing was a defensive set, I went for the Poison just in case. You know, poison damage is always good to have. And, you know, basically just stalling out again. He actually switches out, and this is when I go for the knockoff. And this is a great play, because now it's, without the Eviolite, that Porygon 2 is just basically nothing. It's just weird now. And so, basically my Deoxys is just gonna, I'm just gonna switch out right here. I think I'm gonna switch out. We're both got our poisons up, so I switch out here. Go to my Inception, get the Intimidate, which doesn't really matter. He goes for the Cover, which, I mean, he probably could have survived one more Toxic, and then still got to recover off, but I mean, that's his choice. I go for the Fake Out, see how much I can do without the Eviolite, which actually doesn't really do that much, but I mean, it's not surprising. So I just go for the Close Combat, because I know I'm faster. Take it out in one hit without the Eviolite. And so there goes that R2P2, which I think is a cool name, actually. I'm like, nah, I don't want to take it, because I like my rubber ducky better. But now he goes into his elf, and just, I don't want to take the psychic, so I switch out and go into my Thor, which has decently good special defense. So anything he's going to do to me, I'm going to be fine. And so he switches out, goes back into his Zapdos, and I thought maybe I could get a Shadow Ball on the Zelf, thinking that he might want to attack me again. But he does switch out, go into his Zapdos. I takes the Shadow Ball, gets a special defense drop, but it doesn't really matter right here, because I'm going to switch out, go into my Heracross, hopefully thinking that I could late game sweep, but he actually goes for the T-Wave, which I forgot that he has T-Wave. I thought he'd rather go for the Roost instead, get off most of his damage, but he actually goes for the T-Wave, which sucks because this is a Scarf Heracross. And so now he goes for the Heat Wave, which misses, and I go for the Stone Edge, which is lucky for me, because I usually miss with those things. So I get my Moxie boost up, and he goes for his Elf. And so now at this point, I can't really do anything. I could have won. The Stone Edge probably wouldn't have taken that. Well, maybe it could have. I don't know. I didn't want to lose my Heracross at this moment. And I knew Psychic was coming up. Or no, I was thinking more Fire Blast, but he goes for the Psychic, thinking that I'd switch into something else probably. And then I go into my Deoxys. I knew he was going to taunt me, so I just go for my knockoff, see what kind it is. And it's a Focus Sash lead, of course, basic. And so basically I'm just getting my Toxic down. And right now I finally see Fire Blast. He just used it. So now I'm basically sending in this Deoxys so I can just knock off, because that's the most I can do. I don't really want to switch in on anything, because anything I switch in would die. So my Deoxys is going to take the hit for me. Good right there. And I'm just going to my Inception, get my priorities up, fake out, get the flinch on him. It's about dead. Then I go for Mach Punch, and that's going to be game. And that's a 4-0 right there. But even if it was a 4-0, I would still be proud, Jordan, because that was a really good match, and I enjoy it very much. And, oh yeah, I didn't even get to use my Flagon. Oh, sad face. He's a Screech set. But besides that, it was a good game. Comment, rate, subscribe. Visit my other two co-workers on this channel, Trevor and Will.